I spent 19 hours playing through King Arthur Legion 9, a turn-based fantasy RPG. Has it been ported well? Is the game any good? And more importantly, is it worth your time and money? You'll have to stay tuned to find out. The game's story follows Commander Mento and his undead troops. They're Roman soldiers that form part of the 9th Legion, but there's a bit of a twist. They're dead, but find themselves being brought back to the world of the living in the lands of Avalon. The commander wants to locate the rest of his troops, discover how they've ended up in Avalon, and rebuild a colony that mirrors Rome. With the story out of the way, let's explore the game's combat. You'll have 3 heroes to control in battle, which later increases to 6. Each of your heroes has action points or AP, which you'll use to move between tiles as well as use your abilities. Each tile will consume 1 AP, and your hotbar will display your skills as well as their respective AP costs. Moving to a green tile means you'll still have enough AP to attack, whilst moving to a yellow tile means you cannot. You'll need to manage your AP well, as you won't want to move a hero to a horde of enemies, run out of AP and leave yourself wide open for damage, especially if your back is facing towards them, as Legion 9 places a lot of emphasis on backstab damage. You'll want to take advantage of this mechanic, and it works for all damage types including melee, ranged and spells. Yes, you can use a spell from distance and still get the backstab multiplier. Now, enemies won't turn down the chance to backstab you either, which is why you'll want to reposition the way you're facing after you're done moving. I enjoyed the synergy of each party member and how their skills combine for taking out enemies. Nerva, for example, is the mage. He can use Unholy Chain to link 2 enemies together, meaning they both take damage when either are hit. Albina can use Balance, which combines all of your hero's HP and redistributes it evenly. This was one of my favourite and most used abilities, as it could get you out of a dire situation. You've also got Drusus, who has one of the best skills in the game in Scorpio. This is a portable turret that attacks enemies if they move in its range, but that's not even the best part. Enemies seem to prioritise attacking the Scorpio instead of attacking you. The Scorpio was so good I treated it like an additional party member, but lads, it gets even better. Remember, we're talking about synergy. You can put down palisades, which are walls that enemies need to destroy to pass through. If you place palisades down and block their path and put a Scorpio on the other side, well, they'll need to take guaranteed damage. These are just a few examples of tactics you can employ to ensure a cheap but satisfying victory. Enemies will of course put up a fight. They'll use a multitude of status effects like poison to whittle you down, making themselves invulnerable to damage, and of course overwhelming you with their numbers. If a party member dies in battle, don't worry, as there's no permadeath. If you win the fight, they'll come back with 1 HP. You will see symbols popping up frequently below your health bar as well as enemies. These represent some form of buff, debuff or passive ability. Fortunately, you can highlight an enemy and view their skills and status that's affecting them. You can of course do the same for your heroes, so if you're unsure why an attack isn't working or why you can't move, you can always check here to find out why. There's also a cover system which works in a similar way to XCOM 2, ultimate skills which give you an advantage in battle, as well as duels which are a 1v1 fight. The combat system worked well and was very much enjoyable, but after you've engaged in combat, surely you'll level up, perhaps even get some shiny loot. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Oh yeah, that's right, I don't have adverts yet. So let's discuss the game's progression. At the end of each mission, you'll level up and receive 2 skill points. You can use these to unlock new skills and upgrade them, or unlock passive abilities. 18 is the max level, and you'll stop gaining skill points once you reach it. This means you won't be able to unlock everything and be super OP. However, you can reset your skill points for free as many times as you like to try different builds. You can also acquire new equipment consisting of a weapon, armor and 2 additional ring slots. There are 3 tiers, but you'll want to focus on relic gear, which is coloured in yellow. Relic gear provides the best bonuses and passive abilities that will also coincide with your hero's skills. Albina, for example, has multiple skills that inflict burn, with her Firebirds being a great example. Now, I equipped her with the Dawnbringer, which increases my burn chance as well as her damage. There is more to Legion 9 than just combat though. I mentioned earlier that you'd be rebuilding a colony, so let's take a look at Nova Roma. There is a strategic layer to the game, as you'll be managing your colony in Nova Roma. There are 6 vendors, including a blacksmith where you can upgrade and dismantle your gear, the War Council where you can buy decrees to aid in missions, and the merchant where you can purchase gear and potions. All vendors can be upgraded with coins and resources earned through missions. If you're expecting a similar level of strategic depth like the Avenger in XCOM 2, you're not going to find that here. You could ignore Nova Roma altogether, but you'd be missing out on a big part of the game. Legion 9 has a morality system which is affected by your choices as a commander. After each mission, your party members will approach you with problems, and their morality will change based on your response. You can view your morality by accessing a chart which tracks your negative and positive choices. Each tier unlocks new passive abilities and building upgrades. For example, reaching maximum positive morality allows you to overheal and store it as temporary HP, which was very nice to have. The game makes use of an overworld system where you'll be able to choose between story missions, side missions, and go to Nova Roma. Although the game categorizes some as side missions, they're mandatory, which to me makes them story missions. Within each mission you'll have a primary goal as well as side objectives, although these are optional. Go figure. These consist of clearing all enemies, interrupting a ritual, or locating an NPC, but they all result in fighting a pack of enemies. You've got a map which highlights where you've been and areas of interest. Now the map sizes for all missions are small, and each mission can take anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, and that's assuming that you don't lose any battles. In the side quests, and I say side with quotation marks, you'll be down a party member as one always refuses to go. This adds a bit more challenge to each fight, but you'll come across NPCs in some missions who will temporarily join your party. And whilst we're on the topic of challenges, we may as well look at the game's difficulty. There are 5 difficulty options you can choose from, ranging from story to brutal, but there's also a custom setting for those that want a tailored experience. Now I started on normal despite having experience in turn-based games. I remember when I played XCOM 2 for the first time and played on veteran for my first playthrough. I got absolutely destroyed and save scummed my way to victory. I figured if the game was too easy, I'd just up the difficulty in the menus. Newsflash, you cannot change the difficulty once you've started the game. The game is so easy on normal, but after a few hours I figured it would get harder. It didn't get any harder, in fact it got easier when I unlocked new skills and had a full party. I don't recommend anyone playing on normal difficulty, even if you're new to turn-based games. I only lost one battle in my entire playthrough, and that's because I got careless. Apart from that one-off, I was pretty much a Sith Lord fighting a bunch of uncoordinated Padawan. And let's just say those Padawan will never become Jedi Knights, if you catch my drift. Because they're dead. Once you've completed the game, there are more missions that can be completed, referred to as the Endgame. It's worth noting there are 2 story-related trophies that will result in different endings, so there is some form of replayability factor. An aspect I didn't like about the Endgame is not being able to level up. This means you're unable to obtain any more skill points due to reaching the max level. You lose the sense of progression in between missions, which is the fun to be had in turn-based games. Each mission in the Endgame contributed 6% progress towards the Endgame trophy, which means there are a minimum of 15 additional side missions to play through. This will be enjoyable for those playing on a harder difficulty, which I should have been on from the start, but these will get stale if you're playing on normal. Each mission still takes 30 to 45 minutes, and whilst you can no longer level up, you'll still earn loot as well as resources to upgrade Nova Roma. There are 2 graphic options to choose from in quality and performance. You'll get a 4K resolution with the quality setting, but the frame rate would fluctuate from 48 to 60 FPS, and this was quite choppy. Performance on the other hand maintained a solid 60 FPS, at 1440p resolution. This was a much smoother experience, and I recommend playing on performance mode for this reason. There were a few hiccups, as there was some slowdown when there was a lot of animations happening on screen, as well as when textures were loading on the map. There were several parts of the map that you could clip through, and this happened in a few missions. I didn't like how slow your characters run when traversing the map, and I think this could be sped up. Finally, the game did crash in the middle of a battle, which wasn't a big deal as the autosave took me right back to the start of the fight. There were no further crashes apart from this one. The game world and character models looked alright, but some of the map textures appeared muddy, especially with some of the light and mist effects. Regarding the voice acting, I'm 99% sure that AI was used for some of the characters. If AI wasn't used, then the voice actors should be applauded for their Oscar-worthy AI impersonations. Now look, I understand games are expensive to make as well as hiring voice actors, but if you're gonna use AI, I would consider purchasing better software. King Arthur Legion 9 took me 19 hours to complete, and that's including some of the endgame missions. The average completion time is 20 hours, and that will extend to approximately 25 if you want to see everything the game has to offer. I paid £16 or $20 for the game, which was a fantastic price for what you're getting. This was originally supposed to be DLC for the original King Arthur game, but the devs decided to release it as a standalone project. As someone who enjoys turn-based games, Legion 9 was a satisfying one to play. The combat and skill synergies were fun, the colony management in Nova Roma was a nice touch, and despite having a few hiccups, the game performed well. If you enjoyed playing XCOM, Rogue Trader or Baldur's Gate 3, I believe you'll have a good time with Legion 9. If you've got no experience with turn-based games, Legion 9 is also a great place to start. But with my thoughts out of the way, what did the critics have to say? It has a score of 72 with Metacritic, 69 on OpenCritic, and sits at mostly positive on Steam. I disagree with Open and Metacritic scores for once, and I'm giving the game an 8. With 20 hours of fun gameplay for $20, it's hard to ignore its low price point. Thank Thank you to all those that stuck around to the end. Your time is much appreciated. If you enjoyed the video, you know what to do, as you've heard it all a million times. My next video will be a review of Doom: The Dark Ages, which I'm looking forward to as my Xbox has been gathering dust since Starfield. If that's something you'd like to see, then consider subscribing. But until next time, lads, I'll catch you all on the next video. And there are two graphic options to choose from in quality. Oh, slap my tits and call me Mary. There are two. Oh, fuck's sake. Fuck my life. I forgot I don't have adverts. But I do know about the story's progression, baby.